and the next thing I knew, you had that ship looted before anyone else could blink.
Well, yeah, because the issue was is we kind of knew the salvager was going to die, and it wasn't a huge loss. I mean, the salvager with all salvagers and salvage rigs, what maybe 5 mil, maybe 10 mil max if it's expensively fit. But the loot, well, depending on what drops, could be anywhere from the full amount that we pulled out the wormhole, which could be very valuable depending on the melted ribbons that drop and so forth, to not so valuable. And our goal was to us landing. We knew the Loki wouldn't want to stick around with us there because we had Logi. He wasn't going to be able to take care of all of us unless he had backup. So we got it quickly, and then we warped. That we got a warp in on the new hole, warped to it. We had someone scout it, and it ended up being not that far away over in Solitude, which is where one of our members actually wanted to go anyways. Um, the reason being is there's gonna be some additional base camping out of there for some other stuff. So we ended up being about a handful of jumps away from where we were looking to go anyways. So we went all through there, and then I personally covered the cost of jumping a few ships that people didn't want up in that general area back down to Barliget for the mishap with not having the correct or not have getting stuck in the wormhole and then having to go out somewhere else. So all in all, it was a great success story, so to speak, of things that went really bad and turned out to be not so bad. So that was kind of fun with that. And I should say, shout out to Lank, because Lank and Dimitri, I don't recall how to pronounce your last name, but I'll just say Dimitri from Crow Vanguard for setting up all this stuff between AIU, Crow Vanguard, and making all of this stuff available to both of us so that I can learn how to do some of this wormhole stuff, and I was able to handle that situation fairly easily, FCing it, so that was kind of fun. All in all, I think we didn't get away with much. We lost one salvager, none of the DPS, Logi, or any of that got lost. And I want to say everybody walked away with about 10 million, which isn't great considering it's a C3, but considering we lost the ship and about half the loot value got lost in the explosion, that's not terrible, considering all things considered. Other than that, Hoots and I and some other Corp members had some fun with the Twitch streamer. And before you go getting some assumptions on who that might be, I assure you it is not Destiny. We found a smaller time Twitch streamer, and we realized he was up in high sec and that he was just kind of running missions, not really paying attention. And he's a newer guy; he's just checking it out, following the Battle of BTAC-R. So we were like, okay,
So
let's.
wait, by a newer guy, we mean in his Twitch stream, he said Eve Online, day 6.
Wait, were you guys griefing a newbie?
Maybe. We
Well,
weren't
so
griefing
I
him.
told Hoots that I would fly up to Wisconsin and kick him in the nuts if he tried to blow up this new guy. And he continued to go, okay, well, I'm going to fly over to where this new guy is because I can tell because he's not hiding. He's hiding his location in the top left, but he's not hiding where he is on his overview or anything else. So you can see exactly what system he's in. And by the way, he happened to be in a .5 system running missions as a new guy, which is just a terrible idea in general. I'm not sure why exactly he was there, but anyways, so I kind of followed Hoots as, okay, let's go have some fun, but without the intention of blowing the guy up. Unfortunately for me, as we got there, I'm terrible at scanning. That was actually the first time. I don't think I told you this, Hoots, but that was actually the first time I've actually tried to scan with probes since even Odyssey had hit. Because I just hadn't done any scanning since then.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah, well, I've gotten pretty a little bit better between that and then the last couple of wormholes things I've been just practicing up on. So I've gotten a bit better, but in general, yeah, that was me trying to get used to the new interface and figuring out how all the probe things move automatically now. It was way easier. But anyway, so we got there, and he ended up going like 7 or 10 jumps away. It was pretty crazy. We were following him behind him. He was in a small little frigate, I think at Imicus.
Yeah, he was in an Incursus. He was in an Incursus with maybe two guns in the high slots, and he had a cap booster with some cap charges in the mid slots and a couple other things. I
Hey,
think he might
Hoots.
have had a what?
How do you know how he had all this stuff in his slots?
Oh, 'cause, he was constantly bringing his ship fitting up
Oh,
on
okay,
the Twitch
okay.
stream. It was great. And then even the
Well,
best part,
also he had
his
a.
low
Oh,
slots.
yep. Go ahead.
Well, the best part was his low slots. It's and this I'm giving him a hard time, but he was he kind of looked like a kid, and B, this was his sixth day playing Eve Online, so he had an armor repper and an expanded cargo hold in his low slots, and that was it. And
And he had two different guns. I don't recall. I didn't remember if I heard you say that before, but he had two different types of guns
yeah, he may have had two different
in his
types of
highs.
guns too.
So that anyways, and he had his entire value or worth in Eve in his cargo hold of his ship. Everything he's ever had, as far as I could tell, everything he's had was just in his cargo hold.
It was
Like
pretty
everything
great.
he owned in his
Yeah,
existence?
Well, I don't know if it
everything.
was everything, but I mean, his cargo hold was almost full. And it looked like completely random stuff. It wasn't just missioning loot or something like that. Looked like pretty much everything he had. Now, with that said, so Hoots and I are going, we're trying to find this guy. We had another corp mate with us that we were going to do it. And again, I'll reiterate that we weren't trying to grief this dude. So he goes about 10 jumps away from where we start in Heck and up to like point 0.7 or 0.89 system, I think, even. Yeah, 0.9 system. So we have Concord's a big issue that we know we can't really attack him anyways. But I kind of convinced Hoots not to attack him, and what we ended up doing is having I switched ships with one of our other corp mates who's because my scanning skills suck, and gave him my bomber that I had. He scans him down, warps like 100 off of him. Hoots and I warped to that member, and I was in a Velator with nothing. No, like it had guns obviously on it, but it didn't have any ammo or anything in it. And Hoots was in a Thrasher or Tall War.
I was in a tall war.
Okay, so he was in a Tall War, so he was the one that really could do any damage. So, and he might have actually tried to shoot him if his plan worked. So he warped into like 50 off this guy, and then used his micro warp drive, got in the rest of the way. And we were watching him the whole time on the stream to see his reaction. He didn't even notice we were there till I think either myself or Hoots were like bumping off of him.
Yep.
And when he did finally notice us, he tried to get out, but I was bumping into him. Not very well, mind you, because I didn't have a prop mod, so I was just kind of doing it by slow burning. And I was kind of sort of bumping him into the station, but it wasn't, or the mission structure, but I wasn't intentionally like trying to bump him. I was just kind of like pushing into him a little bit.
I was
So
trying to troll him and grief him, but I wasn't really trying to grief him.
yeah,
I'm just
Well,
being
pretty
devil's
much.
advocate here, but
I might have
much.
looted one of his racks.
So yeah,
too.
so Hoots loots one of his wrecks to get his attention, thinking he's going to try to get him with the can flip scam, or get him to aggress, thinking that he can attack him. When in actuality, then he gets into what is it called, a limited engagement with him, and then he can shoot him for real. What ends up happening though is he realizes we're there, starts freaking out. He has somebody else with him, a newer player, I believe, as well, that's running missions with him. They align out eventually and then warp off, and we're in a chat with him, and I think Hoots convos him and starts talking to him a little bit. I'm in the Twitch chat and I start talking to him a bit, and we're just saying, hey, because mind you, we're both in Brave, so all of us show up as Brave members. And he's like, oh, look, it's Brave Newbies. And he's like, oh, crap, it's Brave Newbies. So then Hoots kind of gives him some tips on what to keep an eye out for and to try to be more careful in streaming, as giving out that sort of information could be dangerous even when you're in high sec. And I gave him like 5 mil or something like that, just like, hey, thanks for being a good sport. You know, we're not gonna try to blow you. I wasn't gonna try to blow you up. Hoots might have been able to try to blow you up, but then Hoots gave him like 50 mil, and we had a good time about it. And I think the next night, I could be wrong. I don't know if Hoots was around for this. The
I
next
was
night,
around. The
oh,
next
so next
night,
night, go ahead.
it wasn't even much better. He started streaming again, and Lank Theris went to go have a little bit of fun with him. So what Lank Theris did is he fit up a, I think it was a bomber or maybe it was another type of ship, went out and paid a visit to him and started launching fireworks at him, and got him to freak out for a good minute solid on his stream. It was all in good fun, and the reaction, I think, for me was really well worth it.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys are nice.
So beyond griefing new players, and I should point out that we actually invited this new guy to our corp, or to our corp, or to Brave, so that we weren't just trying to there to piss him off. We were kind of have a little fun with them, but also kind of bring up the point of, hey, Eve's kind of a boring solo game. Maybe you want to join Brave or something like that. Which I realized I realized that maybe after someone just tried to scare the crap out of you, it may not be the best opportunity to say, okay, let's join them. But yeah, it's just kind
I
of
think
say,
it's a
hey,
perfect opportunity.
hey, if you want to check out some other gameplay, not just boring missioning, feel free to look us up or join up in Brave. They're Brave Newies. So, beyond that, pretty much, I don't want to get too specific because I'm trying to keep on the down low, but running a space empire has some logistical nightmares. Hoots runs the space empire, and I just move the stuff around. So I kind of been doing that, and then also moving some other stuff around for some other people. But that's pretty much what I've been up to in the world of Eve.
Hey Stu, I have another contract up. BT
Yeah, I
Dub.
saw that. I just didn't feel like
Yeah, I
dealing
know.
with it today. I did make like almost I don't know if someone messed up on a contract, but there was like 40 mil for a contract today. It was like sweet.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah. So, anyways, moving on. Before we move on to the news, we brought this up last time. Since we're recording Saturday night, we're more likely to be doing this. What are you all drinking this evening? We'll start with Hoots.
I'm not drinking
That's
anything.
true.
Yeah, it like the thing is, so I
You
had
can go
some
nab.
modest.
Nab drinks
Pardon?
work. You can go non-alcoholic beverages. Do you have a
I
glass of water or what?
You know what? Actually, I do have like a bottle of water nearby. So I've been keeping alcohol to a little bit of a minimum. I had some really modest wrist surgery earlier in the week. So just for about a week or two, I'm going to be laying off booze and that sort of thing. Not like I'm an alcoholic anyway, right? Right?
Sure.
Right?
And Kuda, what have you been drinking? What are you
Hoots,
drinking
you're from
this evening?
Wisconsin, and you guys are kind
That's
of known
true.
for your alcohol.
Like, I'm not an alcoholic by Wisconsin standards, which probably makes
No,
me a functional alcoholic by the rest of the world standards.
exactly. I am drinking a cold beer from the great state of Wisconsin this evening.
Woo!
Miller Lite is one of my favorite cheap beers out there. It's man's beer, so that's what I'm drinking this evening.
Stu, what about yourself?
I was actually that's why I was muted. I was trying to see exactly where this was from, but I am drinking an Angry Orchard seasonal sinful apple hard cider, because we got a variety pack of the Angry Orchard, and I'm just about finishing it up here. With that, I think we'll
My
move
wife
in.
just chimed in. That's delicious. So I'm not gonna troll your drink, but
But
yeah.
I think he's being a little bit of a girl.
It's hard cider, man. It's good.
All right.
All right, let's move into the news. Insert
Insert
nude segment here.
the news bumper here.
We don't have any assignments, so give me 1 sec. All right, so first up, we got a dev blog, or excuse me, a forum post from CCP Rise, I believe, talking about changes to drone assist. Everybody's been crying for new crying for new changes to the drone assist mechanic, following
Really?
the popularity of slow cat